Good evening. My name is Christine Chestnut. I'm project manager for Mass DOT. I work at headquarters in Boston. And, so that won't be our presentation up there. Oh, okay, there it is. Perfect, thank you. I was like, uh-oh. So this presentation tonight is for the Revere Beach Parkway over Broadway Bridge Replacement Project. During this presentation, we'll explain how the project was initiated, the goals of the project, our anticipated construction approach, and finally, we'll end the meeting with opening the forum to any questions that you may have and discussions. And we'll put that in the official meeting transcript. So first, I just have to go over some notes. The plan is to record this meeting, and so you just should know that by being here, you're part of a public event, and at the end of the presentation, we'll open it to questions, and we just want you to know that your feedback is very important. Also, all Mass DOT events, we have a policy on diversity and civil rights. And so you can read that here. And if you have any questions, there's a website there, mass.gov/non-discrimination and transportation program to reach the Office of Diversity and Civil Rights. You may have noticed, hopefully, right here when you walk in the door, there's a sign-in sheet, so we can just keep track of who's here tonight. And there's also handouts that have some more project information in them, and also more ways that you can reach us at Mass DOT if you have any questions after the meeting. So who you'll be hearing from tonight and who will be part of the panel for questions and discussions. Again, I'm Christine Chestnut. I work at Mass DOT headquarters in Boston, and I'm joined by Dan Fleury, who works in your district, District 4. He is a ADA compliance engineer, and also joining us tonight from the state right-of-way group is Michael Rudderman. And from Legislative Affairs, we have Dan Fielding. And then Mass DOT's design engineering firm for this project is Howard Stein Hudson. And we have Paul Berthum. And we also have Bridget Myers, who's the manager of roadway design, and Jenna Lisa, who's the manager of traffic engineer, and Paul, sorry, I didn't say, you are the manager of structural engineering. And tonight, if anybody needs the services, we have translation services available by Susanna Carella. So that's who will be talking tonight. So there's a couple of ways that we will keep you informed during the course of this project. So please note that right now we're only at the conceptual design phase of the project. We're very early days in the project. So we're here to talk to you to let you know what we're thinking. And here's how you can reach us. So our email is there, Mass DOT Project Management at dot.state.ma.us. You can also scan that QR code if you wanted to on your phone, and that would bring you to our event webpage. And for this project, we also have our own project website, which is that long link there, the https public.govdelivery.com. What's unique about that is that you can go on there and subscribe. And when you do that, you'll receive updates and advisories on the project so that you'll know when our next hearing is coming or if we're coming out to do a site walk or something like that. And so just know we're here early in the conceptual design to solicit your input, and we'll return in the fall for a more formal design public hearing that we do after 25% design. So funding for this project is, we estimate that the total project cost will be about $14 million to replace this bridge and do some improvement to the ramp work. And that will be in terms of 80% from the Federal Highway Administration and 20% from Mass DOT. Our anticipated construction completion is within 3 construction seasons from advertisement. So here's what we're going to be going over tonight: the project location, how was this project initiated, the existing conditions of the project, the goals of the project, the alternative analysis and proposed design, our anticipated construction approach, how this project will affect our roadway users, yourselves, the next steps for the projects, and then we'll do question and discussions. So where is the project located? So maybe many of you drove under this bridge to get here tonight. I know that I did. And so it's located, you can see here, on Revere Beach Parkway is the bridge, or Route 16, over Broadway, Route 107. The project is north of Mill Creek and south of Taft Street. So why was this a project initiated? How did this become a project with the Department of Transportation? So as you may be aware, the reason for the project is because the existing bridge is in poor condition. There's numerous noted deficiencies, which is why Mass DOT has labeled this bridge as one that needs to be replaced. So shown in the left photo here, you'll see that that's the underside of the bridge, and you can see there that there's exposed and deteriorated rebar. And on the right-hand side photo, you'll see that there's superstructure frame, concrete, and steel deterioration. So those are some photos from the existing bridge today. So your bridge was built in 1930 and was widened in 1958. It provides local connections between Medford, Everett, Chelsea, and Revere, and many regional connections between Route 1, Route 1A, and Interstate 93. And clearance is noted there because the existing clearance is currently substandard vertical clearance. So this figure gives you a depiction of the existing roadway on Revere Beach Parkway. So as you can see, there are 2 11 to 12 foot travel lanes and 3 11 to 12 foot eastbound travel lanes. A median is provided, that 4.5 foot median, which separates the 2 directions of travel along Revere Beach Parkway. The average daily traffic volumes on Revere Beach Parkway are 23,000 vehicles per day in the eastbound direction and 15,500 vehicles per day in the westbound direction. So this figure shows you a cross-section of the existing roadway of Broadway. And as you can see, there is 2 24-foot travel lanes, a 10-foot sidewalk on the northbound side of Broadway, and a 9.5-foot sidewalk on the southbound side of Broadway. Also on Route 107 or on Broadway, there are transit accommodations. So that is routes 116 and 117 with the MBTA. And you can see there in the dash line is the bus route, and then the yellow circles are all of the bus stops along the way. So the nearest bus stops to this project are at Taft Street to the north and Cabot Street to the south. And the MBTA bus network redesign as part of the Better Bus Project identifies this route, T116, as an all-day high-frequency route. Okay, good. So hopefully you can see in this figure that the green highlighted areas are existing pedestrian facilities, and the purple highlighted areas are existing bicycle facilities in the vicinity of our project. So again, our project is the bridge replacement on Revere Beach Parkway over Route 107. Okay, so here's a photo of the existing Revere Beach Parkway eastbound ramp at Broadway intersection. So currently, this is a signalized intersection with outdated equipment. It has faded pavement markings, poor pavement conditions, and no bicycle accommodations. This is a photo of the existing Revere Beach Parkway westbound ramp at Broadway intersection, which is currently stop controlled, right in, right out. And as you can see in that picture, there's currently parking provided within the intersection, and there are no bicycle accommodations in the area. So how did we get here to this public informational meeting tonight? So in December of 2021, we issued a notice to proceed to Howard Stein Hudson to do the design of this project. In August of 2022, Mass DOT approved the preliminary structures report. In the fall of 2023, we conducted our subsurface exploration program and got the bridge type selection worksheet approved. And then in January of 2024, the pre-25% or conceptual design, which is the stage we're at now, was reviewed by the department. And now here we are at the public informational meeting. So what do we want to accomplish? So now that we've reviewed some of the existing problems with the bridge, how do we plan to resolve these problems and provide a safe bridge on the Revere Beach Parkway over Broadway for all users while meeting current standards? So to go into those details, I'm going to have Paul Berthum, the manager of structural engineering at HSH, discuss the proposed improvements and goals of the project.
Thanks, Christine, and good evening, everyone. As Christine indicated, the primary goal of the project is to replace the existing structurally deficient bridge with a new modern bridge while maintaining the existing Broadway traffic below it. The existing bridge was constructed in 1930 and widened in 1958. And the bridge deck and superstructure are in poor condition. We are looking to replace the bridge, but maintain its historic aesthetics. We are also looking to improve intersection safety, transit priority along Broadway, enhance multimodal access, and minimize impacts to roadway users during construction. Other project considerations are the MBTA's Better Bus Project and to increase service within our project, Mass DOT's statewide pedestrian and bicycle plans, Mass DOT's healthy transportation policy, and making connections within our project to other projects being completed by others. Project scope for Revere Beach Parkway and the bridge. As mentioned previously, the project includes complete removal and replacement of the existing bridge structure. As part of that work, we will need to rebuild Revere Beach Parkway to increase the profile over the bridge. Raising the profile of Revere Beach Parkway is required in order to improve the vertical clearance over Broadway. As the existing bridge is on the National Register of Historic Places, we also intend to maintain the historic character of the existing bridge. We are proposing to make minor changes to Revere Beach Parkway in the final condition. However, we are proposing that the current westbound shoulder, shown on the left-hand side of the graphic there, become an acceleration lane to assist traffic merging onto Revere Beach Parkway. The project is proposing to connect back into the existing Revere Beach Parkway configuration at the project limits. I will show a graphic later on to clarify that. Project scope for Broadway. The limits of our project begin at the Revere-Chelsea City line, shown at the bottom of your screen, and continue north underneath the bridge and up to the Taft Street intersection. We intend to reconstruct sidewalks on both sides of Broadway, add bicycle accommodations, and include bus priority measures where feasible. For the ramp intersections, the Revere Beach Parkway eastbound ramp intersection pictured in the upper right is currently a signalized intersection that requires improvements and upgrades along with multimodal accommodations and ADA-compliant curb ramps and crossings. The Revere Beach Parkway westbound ramp intersection, pictured on the lower right, is a stop-controlled intersection with right-in, right-out access, which requires improvements to multimodal accommodations and ADA-compliant curb ramps and crossings. What alternatives were considered? In the following slides, we will discuss some of the design alternatives we have considered for this project. For the bridge replacement, we considered many options, but only 2 viable options were really determined to suit this site. A spread pre-stressed concrete box beam bridge, which is the bridge shown on the top of that graphic, and a spread steel stringer superstructure, which is shown at the bottom of the graphic. For the intersection alternatives, we evaluated control strategies based upon safety, cost, environmental impacts, traffic operations, and multimodal accommodations. For Revere Beach Parkway eastbound ramp intersection, we determined that the signalized intersection was the preferred control. Other alternatives would have had additional right-of-way impacts, potential impacts to the Broadway bridge over Mill Creek, which is on the right-hand side of the picture, and impacts to our bridge that we're working on. So we therefore determined they were infeasible. The Revere Beach Parkway westbound ramp was analyzed as an unsignalized intersection, which is its current condition today, a signalized intersection, and as a roundabout. The results of the analyses show that the unsignalized intersection has a high benefit to cost ratio, limited environmental and right-of-way impacts, and there are currently limited safety concerns with that option. The signalized intersection showed that the cost of the signal would outweigh the benefits, and the roundabout had very significant parkland impacts. What is the preferred alternative? The preferred alternative for the bridge is a simple span steel stringer bridge with a reinforced concrete deck. This structure will more closely represent the historic bridge structure being replaced than the other alternatives evaluated. For Revere Beach Parkway, as you can see from the graphic shown here, we are reconstructing Revere Beach Parkway a few hundred feet either side of the bridge in order to facilitate temporary lane crossovers in order to stage the bridge construction. New pavement markings, and barrier will be installed within the limits shown. The proposed concept also includes adding an auxiliary lane between on and off ramps to and from Broadway to allow vehicles more time to accelerate and decelerate when entering and exiting Revere Beach Parkway. Revere Beach Parkway is proposed to have 3 11-foot travel lanes with variable width shoulders eastbound on the right side of the graphic, and will have 2 11-foot travel lanes and an acceleration lane with variable width shoulders westbound. Eastbound and westbound traffic will be separated by a variable width median. Broadway design considerations. We are currently working on the design of Broadway. The cross-section of Broadway is limited by the bridge span, since this site contains Boston blue clay, which restricts how big the bridge span can get without having significant cost implications for deep foundations. We are currently evaluating how to make accommodations for pedestrians, bicyclists, and transit while maintaining traffic operations and incorporating other projects, which is currently ongoing. A more advanced design for Broadway will be presented at the design public hearing following the 25% design. We are currently coordinating with MBTA regarding their bus system infrastructure improvements, on-call bus lanes, transit priority corridors project. This project has received an access permit to construct a morning peak southbound bus lane on Broadway in this area. We are also ensuring that our design is coordinated with an adjacent Mass DOT project in Chelsea, which is the reconstruction of Broadway from City Hall Avenue to the Revere City line. That project includes signal upgrades, a dedicated bike lane, and upgrades to existing sidewalks and bus stops. The preferred alternative for the Revere Beach Parkway eastbound ramps at Broadway is a signalized intersection. The preferred alternative for the Revere Beach Parkway westbound ramps at Broadway intersection is a stop-controlled intersection. More details on the design of these locations will be presented at the design public hearing, again, following 25% design. What is the construction approach? The project will be procured through a design bid-build contract by Mass DOT and bid-awarded contractor. The project is proposing to use traditional construction techniques, including cast-in-place concrete with on-site forming and curing procedures. The bridge and Revere Beach Parkway reconstruction will be completed over 3 primary stages of construction, with each stage duration taking approximately 1 year for a total project duration of 3 years. Any necessary closures and rerouting of Broadway traffic will occur at night only. This graphic shows Stage 1 construction occurring on the south side of Revere Beach Parkway, where demolition of the existing bridge and reconstruction of the new bridge will occur. 2 lanes will be maintained in both directions on Revere Beach Parkway, and all ramp access will be maintained through all stages of construction. No impacts to Broadway are expected as a part of this construction stage. This graphic shows Stage 2 construction occurring between the new southern section of the newly reconstructed bridge and the northern limits of the existing bridge. Again, maintaining 2 lanes on Revere Beach Parkway and no impacts to Broadway, and ramp access being maintained. Finally, this is construction stage 3, which shows the construction occurring on the northern limit of the bridge. Again, no impacts to Broadway and ramp access being maintained. Temporary nighttime closures. Nighttime work is only anticipated for selected construction operations, such as bridge demolition and placement of new steel superstructure elements, which will require closure of Broadway within the limits of the bridge. The graphic shown below is our preliminary detour plan to get around the site on the nights requiring closure. How will the road user be affected? The project is going to maintain 2 lanes of traffic on Revere Beach Parkway in both the eastbound and westbound directions at all times. The work zones will be safely delineated with temporary lane crossovers. There will be limited nighttime closures to Broadway under the bridge, and abutter access will be maintained. I will now hand things back over to Christine to complete the presentation.
Thank you, Paul. So when we return in the fall to present the 25% design to you, we'll have more detailed information at that time about right-of-way impacts and environmental impacts. But based on our preliminary investigations, we anticipate working closely with the Massachusetts Historical Commission, because as you may know, our bridge is a registered historic place with the Massachusetts Historical Commission. We'll conduct hazardous material research, and we'll work with the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency to comply with the National Environmental Policy Act and submit a water quality data form. And we'll also work with the Massachusetts Office of Coastal Zone Management for a coastal zone management review. So what are our next steps from tonight? So as we mentioned, we anticipate that the 25% design from HSH will get submitted for Mass DOT's review this spring. And then we'll return to present that approved 25% to the design to all of you in the fall of 2024 is the goal. And at that time, we'll start filing our environmental permits and then we'll incorporate your comments and questions into our final design, which will be under review in the spring of 2025. And then in the winter of 2026, the project will be ready to advertise for construction. And so then after that point, we award it to a contractor and then we begin construction. So how will we keep you informed? So this is a repeat of the slide earlier, but just in case you missed the QR code or any of the 2 websites, or also the email where you can reach us at and reach me at. And I see that a lot of you have the handout, and a lot of that information is in there too, so that you have it. So now we'll start the question and discussion portion of the presentation. But before we do that, I just want to give Dan Fielding from Massachusetts Department of Transportation Legislative Affairs a time to introduce any public officials or legislators that are here.
Thank you, Christine. I'm Dan Fielding from Mass DOT Government Affairs. We just want to recognize officials in attendance. Councilor Argenzio, thank you for joining us. And old friend, Councilor Novoselsky, thank you for joining us as well. We also want to thank the state delegation, Rep. Giannino, Rep. Turco, Senator Edwards, and Mayor Keefe as well, who we met with earlier in the week and briefed them with the same presentation. Thank you for your assistance and support of the project in this meeting tonight. Thank you, everyone.
Okay, so now we just ask for any question, and we'll pull in other members of our panel as appropriate based on the type of question you have. Great. And so all that we ask is that you raise your hand, and then we'll call on you, and just let us know your name and your affiliation. So that's all. We can go from there. Yes. Hi.
Second house on Bear Beach Parkway from Broadway.
Okay.
Let's see. I didn't understand what you meant by road stop. Stop?
Yeah.
I forget the phrase already.
That's-
Like on that, where that crossing is, and on the Revere side.
Yeah.
He called it a.
Stop control.
Oh, yeah.
You come to a stop sign.
Okay, because right now, that speed, that on ramp is a curve. And cars are whipping around real fast, because it's curved, not a square. So you're saying there's gonna be a stop sign at that intersection? What do you mean?
Come on up.
Going to be sharpening the curves a little bit so that people can't come around quite as fast as they're doing today. And we'll be improving the crosswalks across it, so better pedestrian ramps with full ADA. Oops, do you need me to stand up there?
Yeah, it would probably be better. Is it okay? Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So we'll be tightening up the curves. We'll have stop signs on the coming off the ramp. So on Broadway, you won't have a stop sign, but if you're coming from either of the ramps approaching it, you'll have a stop sign before you turn onto Broadway. Yeah, so right now, though, you still have to yield traffic to Broadway. So in the future, you'll just have to come to a full stop before turning. And that just provides a safer condition, reduces the potential for conflict at the intersection. Okay.
I know. I don't know if this is.
Okay, so you're saying this won't start until, I couldn't see, was it December, fall of 25 or 26?
Right. It won't be advertised until the winter of '26. Yeah, I know. Yep. It's a process. Yep.
Okay, so I guess this question is way too soon to even ask. Like I said, our house is across from the bridge. Far-fetched question. What if there's a damage to our house?
Yeah.
This has happened before where I lived in a house half a mile away though, where they were blasting and and the sheetrock cracked. So like what happens if there's something that happens to a house?
Yeah, you let me know.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. And then I come out and our resident engineer who's at the site, I'll let them know and that's what we will do. And we'll work with you all.
Okay.
Yep.
And there's no taking of property, right?
Right now, it's so early, so we don't have a lot of information on right away, but right now we anticipate very few right-of-way impacts, yeah, on like residents, right? It's mostly on the parkland.
And the intent there too is that we're trying to be sensitive about trees and things like that. Like, we don't want to take down any trees, we're trying to replace the bridge in its existing footprint, so that we don't have those types of impacts.
However, for you, homeless people sleep in those bushes.
We heard about that the other day.
Yeah,
I'm so sorry, but people at home can't hear you if you're not speaking to the microphone.
okay,
When you answer someone's questions, if you could include questions, and then if any experts are talking, I'm sorry.
perfect, thank you. That's good to know. All right, I'll grab you guys up here. Yeah, we did hear about that the other day at our legislative briefing. Yep. So we'll be sensitive to that. You are? Okay. All right. All right. Hi.
Hi, Paul Agenzio, I'm the counsel from Ward 4, and I represent the west side of Broadway. One of the questions pertains to what this woman just asked. You don't anticipate taking home?
No,
Okay.
no.
Page in here,
So the question was, do we anticipate taking any homes for this project? And the answer is no, we do not anticipate that. And maybe I can show you. I feel like this graphic, we had a nice graphic of the roadway improvements. Just give me 1 second.
And when we did that nice thing to the alley, putting all those flowers and bushes there.
Yeah, is it beautified, the area? Yeah, so we'll make sure that we replace that in kind. Remember that the nice, you guys have the nice graphic.
Yeah, keep going. It's gonna be right before this, I think.
I think I clicked through it.
There we go.
There it is. Okay, so hopefully this shows you. So I know that we're early in design, but this is our anticipated area that we'll be affecting. So you can see that we're not near anybody's homes.
One other question. When Broadway is closed, where would that traffic coming southbound be detoured through?
Yeah, let me show you that too. Let me get to the right. I'm going the wrong way. Thanks. That's night closures, right?
Yeah, that's what you were asking,
Okay,
for closing of Broadway.
okay.
Yes, that's what I'm asking about. So I'm not quite sure what I'm looking at there. So if I'm on Broadway and under the bridge gets closed, where will I be detoured to?
Right, so the question is, if you're,
Where the Chelsea, say it.
yeah, if you're on Broadway and that gets closed, where will you, like, what does your detour route look like? Okay. And so, yeah, do you want to say, I just don't want to say it wrong.
Yeah, no worries. or is, I might mess it up, I hope not, though. So you'd actually go down the Revere Beach Surface Road. So you would take a right there, and then you would head down, I don't know what the intersection is there, but the nearest intersection, and then you would make a loop back. That's Webster Street? Okay.
All the way down to Webster Street.
So you're gonna go down, and then you're gonna turn, and then come back eastbound on Revere Beach Parkway, and then you'll be able to get off at the signalized intersection, and then continue. Same thing, same idea. So if you're heading to Chelsea, you would take a right at the skating rink.
Yeah.
Okay, you would head on Revere Beach Parkway eastbound to the nearest intersection, where you would be rerouted back on westbound, where you would then be able to access back to Broadway. That's only at night, and again, that's very few nights that we would anticipate that happening.
Okay, so.
Yes.
Starting in fall of 26. No, when's it started?
Yeah, so it takes some time to get the contractor awarded. So the earliest I think it would start, if we're lucky enough to award in the winter of 2026, would we get to start that season?
Yeah.
So we should be able to start in 2026.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
And then, do you have an idea how long, did you say 3 years?
yes, 3 years, yes.
You, like, so are they working 36 months? Or they taking time off during the winter or something?
I don't know what yeah, and I can bring these up.
And the question was about contractor duration and if it was 36 months, continuous months. Obviously, with winter, it can present a challenge to construct, cast concrete, pour concrete, things like that. So a lot of times there will be winter shutdowns where the contractor can't work. Or if they are working, they're gonna pick elements that they can do. They can do demolition, they can do excavation and things like that. So they'll work as much as they can, and honestly, they're gonna wanna get this done as soon as they can, as fast as they can. But again, if we have a really rough winter, if we get a lot of snow and they gotta do a lot of snow removal and things like that, they may have to shut down for certain months.
My name is Jim, I live in a neighborhood, I live in Broadway, I have a house. When we do start this project, right, will they be gonna work at night when people are sleeping? The noise?
Yeah, so the question,
The house is right up above, Route 16, they're right there.
right,
Two-family, three-family homes. What about the noise factor?
yeah, so the question is, with the night work, will there be night work, and how will that affect the people on
Will it stop at 8 o'clock at night, or will they work till 2 or 3 in the morning?
on Revere Beach Parkway Surface Road? Yep. Good question.
I can answer that for you. It's not gonna be constant. Contractors do not like to work at night. They're gonna do it when they have to. It would be up to the contractor, but again, they're not gonna be out there every night, with jackhammers and things like that. They will be out there on the selected nights that I referred to, so for bridge demolition and for beam placement. The Broadway would need to be closed down. Those are the only times that they're gonna be out there. They're gonna wanna work 7 to 3, 7 in the morning, 3 in the afternoon. Traditional hours. Again, nighttime closures, and nighttime work should be minimal.
And beam placement is pretty.
And beam
quiet.
placement isn't gonna be loud.
Yeah.
Okay, they're gonna have a crane, that will, physically pick the beam up off the truck and place it. So when they do, so when they do demolition, there are gonna be a few nights that there's potentially gonna be some noise. But again, the contractors aren't gonna wanna be out there, for weeks on end doing that work.
Do you people put any kind of restrictions on them in that regard?
We certainly can, yeah.
Would you?
Yeah. Yep.
Hi.
I don't know the South Studio, what concept I'm sure you have here, but, I have several things I'd like to bring out. Number one, regarding, the nighttime, Revere has a code red telephone system. If you can somehow utilize that and let the folks would be doing that work, giving them an advance notice, if 24 hours in advance. I think that would give them a little more comfort, knowing that something's going on. That's number one.
Right.
We can work with the mayor's office to get that done.
Okay, let me just repeat that, sorry, for our people. Okay, so the recommendation was to get the project linked up with Code Red to give our residents notification before the night work was going to be done. And we can do that.
Number two is regarding the deceleration lane going westbound, coming off to 107. We're going to be changing grade down there because there is some flooding down there, some low points. As you come off on the east-westbound side of the parkway, going westbound. So there are some flooding issues down there, so on low points, and there's no catch basin at that point. The catch basin is too far up the street. So I use that all the time, so that's how I realize it's happening.
Yeah, and with all our rain, you probably really know.
Just want to make sure that's
Yeah.
addressed.
So the question was, which off-ramp was it?
Coming off westbound at 107.
So the question was about when you go over the bridge coming off in the westbound direction, are we going to be looking at drainage concerns in that area? And so here comes Bridget Myers from HSH. She'll answer this question.
So I just want to look for clarification on exactly where you're talking about.
Go back to that picture.
Oh, there it is.
On the extreme left,
Mm-hmm.
on the exit ramp.
So as you're getting off Riviera Beach Parkway, and you're getting off to get onto the residential road? Okay, so like at the bottom of the ramp there?
Right at the bottom about,
Okay,
there's a catch basin about 50 feet up the street.
Mhm.
It goes down that and it goes.
okay. No, that's good to know. Those are the type of things that we look to get from you guys, because we're not always gonna see that. Okay. Yeah, and when we know information like that, we can certainly look into it and see if we can fix that problem. So we'll take that note.
Good, thank you. And
Thanks.
the last thing is the deceleration lane coming at the same spot, coming over the bridge westbound. That dotted line that we see up there, is that considered a deceleration and acceleration lane? So cars coming westbound, okay, could use that as
Right.
early as they can, as long as traffic's not coming upon.
Correct. It'll act, yep.
Right now, the deceleration lane spot is very, very small and quick to come off to that.
Right, right now, there's just a wide shoulder, so you have to wait till you're pretty much over the bridge to get off, right? So that whole shoulder is gonna be converted into a lane, but, and yes, you're correct, it'll be an acceleration and deceleration, so cars can go both ways, there'll be some weaving there, but yes,
And then
that's correct.
The last question I have is down on the Broadway side, under the bridge, the sidewalks, those gonna be made smaller?
That's what we don't know yet. We're evaluating that. We have that, space between the bridge, and we know we need to fit vehicle lanes, sidewalks. There will be sidewalks on both sides. We don't know yet the width. We're trying to fit in bicycle accommodations as well, so how that looks, bus lanes, that's why we couldn't really show anything, because we don't have that nailed down yet, so we didn't wanna.
And you had to check the pedestrian usage on either side of the street.
We should have that. We have that. We do, yeah. When we get our traffic counts, we get the pedestrian and bike volumes as well, yeah. Is there anything that you wanted to add about?
No,
your-
it's not that I'm concerned about it, because I know you only need 8 feet anyway, for sidewalk. And if you needed that extra foot,
Mhm.
or so on either side, and you do have a little space between the sidewalk and the walls.
Right,
of
yep.
the bridge, so you could move it in and make the roadway wider if you had to.
Right, yeah. So we have all that space to work with, yeah.
Coming under the bridge, heading south on
Mhm.
Broadway. Right now, there's 2 lanes, one to go straight and one to take a left turn. Is that gonna be maintained?
Again, that's also looking at, because we want to be able to fit all of those things. So I guess I don't have like a absolute answer for you, yes or no, but we do have to take all that into consideration, because we want to make sure the intersection works and it operates well.
Are we making actual bike lanes or are we using shared lanes?
again, we've looked at shared bus bike lanes on their own, having them up on the sidewalk. So we have to look at all those options.
And these are things that, you know, I look at, and know a lot of other
Yep.
people look at too.
Yeah.
And that'll be hammered out when we come back.
Right.
Before we
Design,
Bringing it out. So
Yeah.
you understand what we're looking
And one thing, I guess with this road, because we do have higher volumes, we are gonna look for somewhat separation, so it's unlikely you'll just see a striped bike lane, like just lines. And we want a little bit more protection, you know, maybe they're raised up, maybe they're shared, but at least 5 feet, yeah.
My name's John, I've been with the business on Broadway. I'm confused about the time the construction starts.
Yeah.
9 p.m. to 5 a.m.
So the question is, when will construction be happening? And so, hopefully this helps. So construction will be happening during the day. But sometimes for like bridge demolition and for like placing the beams for the new bridge, that will be happening at night. So that we never have to, so we don't have to close Revere Beach Parkway too often. Yeah. Okay. Broadway. Is that correct?
Yeah, we don't anticipate any.
Yeah. Great. Right. So the question was, do we anticipate ever having to close Broadway during business hours? And the answer is no. Yeah. It's good news.
I can just add on top of that, like the section that we're looking to close on Broadway, it's just gonna be within the limits of the bridge. The contractor just needs enough space to close that section off, and it's basically the parking area, right? That's the only thing people aren't gonna have access to, because the contractor's gonna be there, but that's it.
The last question on my crosswalks.
Crosswalks.
You know, Julie's here, Julie tomorrow, we've got a traffic person. And now when they do the crosswalks, they're gonna make them smaller, a little shorter, and back, and
I don't know, but Bridget does know.
Do you mean reducing like the length, like the distance you have to cross? Yeah, that's what, we always would look to do that. So the width would be still the same, they typically about 10 feet, 8 or 10 feet wide, but
changing angle, it was mentioned that instead of doing the radius to,
Right.
you know, making more of a close to 90 turn at that, in that portion near their business. Is there gonna be a butt out there where that kind of swings back in so people can still park in the parkway side of the homes? You know, drop the cars.
Maybe like in this picture. Maybe
it's not on the screen.
Can you bring up that?
There we go.
Right
Do you-
there with that
The
brown
one
building.
going
Where that
across
building is.
Broadway.
Where that brown building is.
So,
That's gonna be more of a 90 than it is a radius.
yeah, right.
Radial turn it is.
Yes. In the crosswalks, how they're kind of coming in at the same spot, almost at the corner. We want to separate them so they're not on the corner like that, yep.
So you're gonna have to make that island smaller in order to utilize some of that with the grassy areas.
Potentially, or at least take some of it to make the sidewalk through there, right? Mhm.
But I'm just concerned with that turn is right there, it's gonna be a butt out and then a swing back in for cars, residents to be able to park in front of their homes still.
On the residential road. I don't think we were impacting any of the parking on that roadway.
Yeah, there is no parking up to the house
Up
next
to-
door.
You guys just be like.
Right.
Yeah, I've driven past that.
Yeah, because we're just pretty much working right at the intersection. We're not going too far. We're not going really like into the road, the residential road much.
We cutting down the radius on the westbound side on the other side of the street.
Yeah. Yeah, we want to slow down vehicles turning. Won't be quite 90, we still need to make it accessible for, larger vehicles, but yeah, the idea would be to make it as tighter as, as we could to slow things down.
So that's the picture, so where's the stop sign going? So Broadway,
Right, so there, if it was something like that, there would be a stop sign before the crosswalk. As that car that you see, like the white one, if it was coming there, it would have to stop before the crosswalk.
Stop sign there now.
And no,
Stop sign there now. No, it's stopped. Because I walk in every day. There's a stop sign right on that corner. With a white car, it's just up ahead, on the sidewalk. There's a stop sign right there. As you go on Route 16, picking up Broadway to the right, 107. There's a stop sign right there before the crosswalk. You know why I know it's there? Because somebody knocked it down and I called up to have them replace it.
there you go. Well, that's good. Right.
Great, thanks, Bridget. Any other questions? Okay, well, let me, yeah, sure thing. Of course, yes. I will have it will be posted on the, if you could just go back to my slides for 1 second, sorry, thank you. Nice gentleman in the back, I think his name is Andrew. Oh, sorry. Let me just bring up our website again. And so the presentation will be posted on this website once I get there. Okay, so at that mass.gov/event website, and if you look up just Revere there, you'll see like the handout is there. Perfect, yep. And then we will post the presentation there also, yep. Usually it's easier to post the presentations because they're kind of big, so then you can just have it there whenever you need it. For sure. Okay, and if you think of any questions or anything that, like as soon as you leave, you're like, oh no, I wanted to talk about that stop sign at that street, just reach out to that email, that Mass DOT project management at dot.state.ma.us. That I get those right to me, and then we'll get your question answered, and then we'll be able to incorporate it into the 25% design. But you guys gave us a lot of great input tonight that we'll definitely be incorporating into the 25% design, and then we'll come back and present that to you then. And at that time, we'll have even more detailed information, especially for Broadway. Good. Thank you. Thank you. Oh, and I wanted to make sure I thanked you all, the city of Revere, for providing this wonderful meeting space for us to hold our meeting. We really appreciate it. Thanks very much.